Good morning, friends. Right now you are looking at a tarantula hawk wasp and an Arizona blonde tarantula. We're going to give it about 1 minute. I'm a little late to the party today. All right, again, you are looking at a tarantula hawk wasp. Good morning, Frankie. You caught lots of caterpillars. Awesome. Okay, it is 10:02. So we are going to get started. I'm going to turn my camera around here. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Wherever you're watching this from, my camera is not going to stay today. Okay, so my name is Jenny, and I run the Insect Zoo at Iowa State University, and I'm also an entomologist. So what is an entomologist? An entomologist is a scientist who studies bugs. So that's what I get to do. I get to study bugs. But not just bugs. We're lucky. As entomologists, we get to study animals called arthropods. So what is an arthropod? Arthropods are very different from you and I. They're very different. In fact, they're so different that they don't even have bones inside their body. Their bones, their skeleton, is on the outside of the body. It's called an exoskeleton. So we have bones inside. Arthropods have bones outside, an exoskeleton. It's just like a skeleton on the outside that's like a suit of armor that helps to protect them, to keep moisture in, keep moisture out, keep bad things out, and to provide stability for all those muscles and stuff inside. So arthropods are animals with exoskeletons. Well, what kind of animals are arthropods? Insects, spiders, tarantulas, millipedes, centipedes, scorpions, shrimp, crabs, lobsters. Lots of animals. In fact, there's more arthropods on our planet than any other animal combined. Can you believe that? I know. So today we are going to talk about spider wasps. I'm so excited. I love wasps, which is why I don't know for how long, but we're going to talk about wasps. So Monday was Memorial Day, so we did not have a live on Memorial Day. But today, wow, there's a lot. There's so many spider wasps in the world. It's crazy. So I'm going to get my camera turned around here so you don't have to look at my face anymore. And we're going to focus back here on our little tarantula hawk wasp. I say little. So the tarantula hawk wasp, we're not going to talk about that first. No, we are not. But I do want to let you know that just in the United States, there are about 290 species or kinds of spider wasps. 290 different kinds just in the United States and Canada. What? There's no way we could talk about 290 species of spider wasps in a short period of time. It would take us hours to do that. So we're not going to do that. Instead, I picked a few species that I really liked. And did you know, my friends, that there are over 4,000 species worldwide that we know of? There could be way more. In fact, there's definitely way more, because entomologists, we have not discovered all of the species of any type of insect. There are thousands of species of spider wasps that have not even been found yet. So get out there and look for some spider wasps so that you can discover a new kind. Okay, so what are we going to look for when we're looking for spider wasps? So I've got some pictures up here, and we're going to start. So again, this is the Tarantula hawk wasp. We're not going to start with that one. We're going to start with this one right here. Okay, so a lot of spider wasps just have the common name spider wasp. So what is a common name? A common name is like what we commonly call it. A common name can be different. So if you live in Europe and you have the same type of insect that we have here in North America, you might call it something different than what we call it here. Or how about, let's talk about the lightning bug for a minute. In some parts of the U.S., they call it a lightning bug. In other parts of the U.S., they call it a firefly. And there could be other names that I just don't know of. So common names. So this common name is a rusty spider wasp. And this rusty spider wasp, it is found all over North America. It is a very common spider wasp. It's more common east of the Mississippi. So you're going to find that with some of these spider wasps that there's ones that like more of the western part of the North America and others that like the eastern part, but there's some that like all of it. So this one is more common east of the Mississippi, but it's also been found in Central America and even in Costa Rica. How cool is that? Very cool. So this spider wasp can get to be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch in size, which is a size that most of these spider wasps will get to. Where does this one live? So spider wasps live in different places, and this one likes to live in rock piles. So if you have a pile of rocks that is just sitting there on your property or the edge of your property, or let's say you have some farmland next to a wooded area and you got a big pile of rocks there, these guys like to nest in where the rocks meet and it makes a neat little hole. That's where they like to nest. They usually hunt for wolf spiders. I love wolf spiders. So what makes a spider wasp a spider wasp? They're not a spider with wings. No, they hunt spiders. What do they do with those spiders when they find them? Well, my friends, we're going to watch a video later about what they do, but I'll give you a little hint. They sting them, and then the spider is paralyzed. It cannot move, but it's still alive. And then the spider wasp will bring that paralyzed spider back to its burrow, the little hole it lives in. This one, remember, it likes to live in rock piles or even in the cracks of rocks of like retaining walls. Have you seen those big cement walls that are holding back the earth from falling onto the sidewalk? Those are retaining walls. So if there's cracks in there, these guys like to live there. So they're going to bring back that wolf spider to their little rock crevice, and they're going to lay an egg inside of that spider. Now, the egg will hatch, and wasps go through complete metamorphosis. Egg, larva, pupa, adult. So that larva, guess what it eats? Can you guess? It eats the spider. That's right, it eats the paralyzed spider that is still alive but can't move. It eats it from the inside out until eventually it dies. And then that larva of the wasp will pupate and then emerge as an adult wasp. So cool! Love it. These spider wasps, they like to eat spiders like jumping spiders, which are so cute. It makes me so sad. Nursery web spiders, ground spiders, crab spiders, sac spiders. And while it makes me super sad that these wasps eat spiders, they're still very important, and I still love them very much. So that's what the larvae, they eat the spiders. But what do the adults eat, you ask? I'm glad you asked that question. They eat nectar and pollen. So guess what that makes this wasp? A pollinator. These spider wasps are pollinator. Okay, ready? We're going to go to the next one. This is where common names are going to get crazy. Spider wasp. So there are so many wasps that most of them do not have like a fancy common name like this rusty spider wasp does. So this up here is the genus and this is the species. Apolus, Aplopus. I'm so bad at saying scientific names. I'm just going to admit it. Melipes. That was good. So genus, species, scientific name. So I'm going to call this Spider Wasp 1. This guy is so cool. Or girl. It's actually a girl. Okay, it's a female. Why do I know it's a female? Because the females are the ones that have stingers. Remember from our last talk about wasp, a stinger is a modified ovipositor. Ovipositor. Ova means egg. Posit means to put. So egg putter. So only females can lay eggs and have egg putters. So a stinger, just a modified egg putter. Do males lay eggs? No. So they do not have an ovipositor or a stinger. So that's why I know that this is a female. This is so cool because look at this. So these guys live in, they're found in central and southeastern United States. And you can see it's got a very pretty blue shiny body and then these orange legs. So that's just this species. There's about 25 species in this genus that we know of currently. And some of them don't have orange legs. Some of them have black legs. But they're all in this genus. They're just different species. And so these guys, oh my gosh. So they hunt spiders, of course, lay their eggs in them. But look what they do. I have a picture of it. You ready for this? What? Look at these little capsules that they build out of mud. Aren't those amazing? Now, there are some mud dauber wasp that we have around here that use mud to raise their young too. So these guys are so cool. So they build this out of mud. And so in each one of these little capsules, you see this one is open, this one's open. In each one of these little capsules, they will bring a spider in and lay an egg inside of that spider. And then close it off. See, this one's closed. That one's closed. Ooh, that one's open too. And that larva, what's it going to do? It's going to eat the paralyzed spider while it's still alive. So cool. So if you see any of these right here, probably from this spider wasp number 1. That's so awesome. Now, I love spider wasp for many, many, many reasons. But one of them is because they don't even care that I'm watching them. They don't care at all. Spider wasps are not aggressive to humans. They do not even know that you are there. They want to find the spiders to lay their eggs. They also want to find nectar and pollen. This spider wasp is another nectar feeder. So again, it is a pollinator. Guess what? Spider wasp. Spider wasp number 2. This scientific name I'm not even going to try to say. That P is probably silent. So Sorthopiscis sanguina. How about that? I did try to say it. That's pretty good. This one is beautiful. So I'm going to call this spider wasp number 2. This one is found primarily in the eastern United States in wooded areas. And look at that beautiful coloration. So that coloration can change depending on the species. So there's dozens of these wasps in this genus, this P word, which is silent up there. Dozens of them in that species or in that genus. So the coloration can change depending on which you are looking at. You know what? These live in wooded areas, and they primarily hunt trapdoor spiders. So a trapdoor spider, we'll talk about those sometime. A trapdoor spider is a spider that builds a burrow with a trapdoor on top of it. So when something walks on it, it falls, or it can quickly jump out of it or peek out of it to grab something that it feels walking above. So spider wasp number 2. So most spider wasp, except for the species that builds its little mud capsules, most of them use the burrows of other animals. And most of the time, it is the burrow of the tarantula or the spider that they sting. So like these guys like to parasitize or paralyze trapdoor spiders. So a trapdoor spider lives in a burrow. So guess what this wasp is going to do? Sting that trapdoor spider, drag it back into its own burrow, lay an egg in it, and close it up. I know it's kind of sad. Okay, what's next? Ooh, I love these. The blue black spider wasp. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking right now. That looks like a wasp that I see around. Guess what? You probably have seen this, but it also resembles things like the mud dauber wasp, which is different. So there's lots of wasps that look like this. In fact, there are just of the blue-black spider wasp, there are 50 species. So here's the genus name, Enopolis. And then I say SP because it's just species. So blue-black spider wasp is the common name for over 50 species or kinds of spider wasps that are this blue metallic color. Now you can tell them apart from other types of wasps that are not spider wasps but are still shiny blue because of these spikes right here on their legs. So on both their hind legs, they have these spikes. So these ones get to a 1/2 inch to 2 inches in size. Who else got to 2 inches in size? Our giant Asian hornet. Remember that guy we talked about? So there are big wasps in the United States already. So again, these guys, they hunt spiders. So they eat nectar and pollen as adults, pollinators. And then whenever they need to lay eggs, where do they lay their eggs? In a type of spider. Then they bury it, usually in that spider's own burrow. And that larva from the egg hatches, eats the spider while it's still alive from the inside out until it eventually dies, pupates, and then emerges as an adult. Aren't those beautiful wasps? I love them. Okay. Now, this one is super cool. So you can easily confound this. So the common name for this is a blue mud wasp. And that is because so this guy, steals the nest of mud dauber wasps. So I just talked about the mud dauber wasp. Looks similar to the blue-black. It also looks similar to this. So a mud dauber wasp makes its its little nest out of mud, and it also lays eggs in spiders. Okay, so this wasp right here will go and it will take out the spiders that have eggs from the mud dauber wasp in it. It'll take them out of that, and they'll put their own spider in their little mud hut, and raise them there. So this lady right here, they're kind of lazy. They don't want to make their own nest. So they use the nest of the mud dauber wasp. Isn't that cool? It is awesome. Also, the blue mud wasp, this is found from northern Mexico all the way up to Canada. Lots of places in the United States, not so much in the East, but these are famous for laying their eggs in black widow spiders. Oh, I love black widow spiders, and we can talk about those too. We have a bunch of them here at the Insect Zoo. So these get to be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, similar size to a lot of the other ones we've talked about. But they're so cool because they actually want the black widow spider. So a lot of these spider wasps specialize in a type of spider. So the black widow spider, it has a bite that is venomous, and it can be medically significant. So what does medically significant mean? That means it can cause you harm in some way, sometimes even death. Now, there has not been a death from a black widow spider that's been reported for a very, very, very long time. But black widow spider bites hurt, and it can make you, if you have something wrong with your heart, it can cause you to have a heart attack if you already have something wrong with your heart. So this blue mud wasp, it likes to lay its eggs in black widow spiders, which is pretty cool if you ask me. But guess what else? It eats nectar and pollen, just like all the other wasps that we have talked about. So this wasp is a pollinator. Okay. Let's see what we got here. What's next? Guess what? Spider Wasp 3. See? Common names. Spider Wasp 3. And this is a Antipus. Antipus is the genus. Unificatus is the species. I know I'm saying that wrong, and my friend is going to watch this later, and he's going to call me and make fun of me. That's what he does. It's okay. I don't need to be able to say the scientific names. I don't. It's not important. As long as I can spell them, right? Yes. This spider wasp looks like another wasp that we are going to talk about. This one is a hunter of wolf spiders. So wolf spiders can get really, really big, and so can this Spider Wasp 3. Notice the orange wings? Yeah, and those orange antennae. Aren't those cool? It's beautiful. Guess how big this guy can get? This lady, up to 2 inches. I know, that's so big. But again, is this spider wasp looking for you? No, sir. No, ma'am. They do not even care that you're there. They are looking for those yummy wolf spiders that they want their larvae to eat. But what does she eat again? Nectar and pollen. So pollinators. Some of these wasp species, like this one here, even though it can be found pretty much in most areas of the United States, it's most common in desert areas or arid environments, those dry environments where it doesn't rain a lot. So pollinators down there, they specialize in plants. But this one is a generalist, although there are some flowers that it prefers, but it'll feed on any nectar. So those plants in the desert and arid environments, they need wasps like this to complete their life cycle. It's very important. Okay, now we have our last wasp that I want to talk about. Can you guess what it is? Can anybody guess what it is? It's got to be my favorite. Let me get my camera turned around here. This is a Tarantula hawk wasp. The genus is Pepsis. This is a very famous wasp because of a certain person that I will not name. But the person that I will name is Justin Schmidt. So Justin Schmidt created the Schmidt Pain Index Scale. And obviously this wasp is dead. I need to relax it before I can pin it. So relaxing means, see, it's all stiff. It's been in the freezer. So relaxing means I use some Listerine or mouthwash. Or you can use like formaldehyde, or there's lots of different things that you can use to relax it. And it's just moisture that the body absorbs so that I can then move the legs and the body parts. So Justin Schmidt, the Schmidt Pain Index Scale, he is an awesome guy who actually stung himself, sometimes on purpose, sometimes on accident, by all of the bees, wasps, and ants he could get his hands on. And then he made a scale of the pain the sting caused. Why would somebody do that? For science. That is why, my friends. Every day I get asked, how bad does this hurt to sting? How bad is this sting? How bad is this sting? Every day. So how are we to know the answers to that unless we get stung by them, my friends? So I have been stung by lots and lots of bees and wasps and scorpions and ants. And I can tell you how it feels. But Justin Schmidt, he was like, there's going to be people out there who don't want to be stung by all these animals. So I'm going to get stung, and then I'm going to rate them on a scale from 1 to 4, where 1 is not so painful and 4 is extremely painful. So this tarantula hawk wasp was a 4, or is a 4 plus. What does that mean? It is really, really, really bad. In fact, Justin Schmidt explains it as like burning sensation, like iron rods being drilled into your body, and it hurt so bad for him. So you may have seen some other characters get stung by this tarantula hawk wasp. I too have been stung by this tarantula hawk wasp. In fact, this exact tarantula hawk wasp stung me last summer. And it did hurt, but I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about acting and how some people may pretend or exaggerate the pain that it causes. So I want to show you here. Let me show you. See if we can see if I stick this under there. Her stinger's not quite out, but that's where her stinger is. Now it is longer than that, so it's not out all the way, but can you see that little point there? That is her stinger. It's pretty sweet, isn't it? And you can see she's got a blue, shiny body. Isn't she beautiful? And their antennae, they do curl like this, little curly Q. And look how big her head is. It's so big. I mean, you can see this compared to my finger. How long are you, my friend? And now she's curled up. So she's definitely going to be a little bit longer than what. So I'd say, so if you look at this, with her abdomen curled down, she is about 1.5 inches. But if her abdomen were straight out, she's almost 2 inches to her head. She's 2 inches with her antennae, about 2 inches with her antennae. Whoop. So she's big, isn't she? Yeah, and look at these long, long legs. They have to have these long legs because they're going to drag back a tarantula, which is bigger than they are. So tarantulas are way bigger than this wasp. So having these long legs helps her to be able to do that. And also they're super muscular. She's got lots of muscles in there to be able to lift that tarantula who weighs way more than she does. And they do fly. And what do they eat? As an adult, they eat pollen and nectar. Super cool. Okay, now I want to show you a video, and it's not of somebody getting stung. Sorry. Okay, this is Animal Planet. I found this on YouTube, and I will put this link up on here. So here is a tarantula hawk wasp, and right now it is drinking nectar. Can you see it? So it is gathering nectar. Whoa, what is that? That's a tarantula. And there's the tarantula hawk wasp. What is it going to do? You see how it's on its back? It flips over on its back and it gets under the tarantula and it stings it. And now it's stinging it more. Now it's going over. It's going to dig a burrow and drag that tarantula. Look how big that tarantula is compared to that wasp. Oh, isn't she cute? She's like, oh, I'm dirty now. So she laid an egg inside of that tarantula. And watch. Okay, so right now that larva from the egg has hatched and it is actually inside. This is the abdomen of the tarantula. And it is eating the tarantula from the inside out. Okay, we're not going to watch the Kung Fu. I'm going to turn my camera around here. Okay, so that was super cool. Am I wrong? Usually not. No, sometimes I am wrong. Actually, I'm wrong a lot. But don't tell my kids that. Okay. Okay, so what we just watched was the tarantula hawk wasp sting and paralyze a tarantula and then drag it back to a hole, and it lays an egg in it, and now that larva from that egg is going to eat that tarantula and then emerge out as an adult tarantula hawk wasp. Well, my friends, I bet you were expecting me to show you a video of me being stung by one of these tarantula hawk wasps. And while it's true that there is a video of me being stung by these tarantula hawk wasps that does exist, it is not for the public. So I will not release that video at any time. Maybe someday I'll make another one. But do not sting yourself with animals, okay? There are people who are allergic to wasp, bees, ant stings, scorpion stings. And if you don't know that you're allergic, surprise, you could get stung by one and then show that you are allergic. So please, my friends, do not sting yourself with animals. It is not safe. Okay. That's my public service announcement for the day. Guess what? Those are all the spider wasps we are going to talk about today. And of course, one of them was my favorite insect, the tarantula hawk wasp. It is one of my favorite insects. And hopefully this summer, I will still get to go down and collect some for the insect zoo. So when I have some that are alive, you bet we're going to look at those, because I love looking at the living insects, not just the preserved and pictures of them. Okay, my friends, so that's everything for today. I hope that you enjoyed our talk about spider wasps and that you learned something. Remember, spider wasps are pollinators. They're very important, and they are not interested in you at all. At all. And they are solitary, meaning there's only one in a group. It's not a big colony like our hornets that we looked at, our yellow jackets. Those wasps, they nest in a big group, a colony. Spider wasps are solitary. They're alone. So it's only one. There's no queen. There's no workers. It's just one. So they don't want you. They want the spiders. So you don't have to be afraid of them. And they're important pollinators. So my friends, when people say that wasps are lame or wasps are mean, all those things, you can stand up and you can say, no, they're not. How about spider wasps? They are pollinators and they don't care about humans. They just want those spiders. There are good things in all of the bugs. Most of the bugs. I'm still trying to find something good about ticks and lice. If you have anything good, I mean, I know that mosquitoes are good. Mosquitoes are actually good. I know they do some bad things, but they're part of the food web. And fleas, people are like, fleas are so lame. They have a purpose, right? So they're a vector of diseases. And whether we like it or not, that is something that happens. That is a part of our whole world cycle is diseases. So, but can't find anything good for lice, bed bugs, and ticks. I just can't. Anyways, find the good in the bugs, please. My friends, thank you for joining me today. We will see you again on Friday. I think we're gonna have a guest. Another Insect Zoo student will be joining us. So my friends, thank you. Go forth and love those bugs.